Hello, Internet. It is I, the Malik Aaron, and welcome back to Box Office Predictions. It's been quite a long time since I've talked about a blockbuster esque film on this channel. Last one I did was Godzilla vs. Kong. That was way back in March. It's now late May, so it's been a while. But to this movie's credit, of all the movies that have come out so far this year, this is one of the few movies that actually feels like a big deal or a big enough deal. And that movie, as you see on the screen, is Cruella, based off the classic Disney villain from 101 Dalmatians, Cruella de Vil. So, as usual, we're going to be going over the pros and cons. So, let's get to it. Pros. Obviously, this is a Disney movie. Say what you want about Disney and all the bad stuff they've done in past few years, but you can't deny they got a very important thing that leads to a lot of their movies being successful. And that thing is brand name recognition. Like Disney, like they own pretty much everything at this point. They own Marvel, Star Wars, that whole Pixar, that whole thing. They also have their own IPs that they didn't buy off from someone else. And 101 Dalmatians, when did that movie originally come out? Was it the 60s? I think it was the 60s or 70s, I forget. Long time ago. That movie is seen as a classic today. It got a 90s remake, a 90s live action remake. So this isn't the first time Disney has done the live action thing. I know some people like to believe they started that whole trend with Alice in Wonderland like 10 years ago. No, they were doing that in the 90s. And yeah, that was the one with Glenn Close. And that 1996 101 Dalmatians movie was successful. It led to a sequel that wasn't very successful, and then the property kind of just laid dormant for a long time until Disney, I guess they were just bored one day and they needed some more cash, decided to take this IP, blow the dust off it, and said, hey, we can do something with this. Let's give it the Maleficent treatment, where we take the villain of the original story and we rewrite it so the villain is sympathetic and the audience can root for them somehow. And to their credit, it worked out with Maleficent. Maleficent was a massive, massive hit, one of the biggest hits of 2014. Granted, the sequel, like the original 101 Dalmatians live action movie, its sequel wasn't that successful, but still, I guess the whole thing worked with Maleficent, so I guess they were like, if it can work for her, it can work for Cruella too. So, yeah. So, easily the biggest pro for this movie is the brand name recognition around it. So, that's the biggest pro by far. So, it's pro number one. Pro number two, our main lead here, Emma Stone as Cruella. Now, Emma Stone, she's been around for quite a long time. Ever since the days of Superbad back in 2007. Like, she's been in a lot, a whole lot. She was in that. She was in Zombieland, Easy A, Crazy Stupid, Crazy Stupid Love, The Help, Movie 43. Ugh, never mind. Let's just ignore that one. The Amazing Spider-Man movies, which I don't believe are her fault. I don't blame her for those movies being bad. Those movies were just a bad idea in general. And then there was Birdman and La La Land, which I believe, yeah, she won an Oscar for that movie. Last I checked, she won the Oscar. So, and then Zombieland Double Tap. So yeah, like she's been in a lot of hits, and she's highly recognizable. And she has quite a large fan base. So I believe a decent amount of her fans will show up to see this, mainly to see her. So yeah, I would consider that a pro. That's pro number two. Pro number three. I mean, it's going up against A Quiet Place Part Two, but the movie, like their target audiences are so different and the genres are so different that I don't think Quiet Place Two is going to hurt it at all. I think they can coexist at the box office. You know, there have been plenty of showdowns in the past when it comes to like big movies. Like the one that comes off the top of my head is was it was Jurassic World and Inside Out back in 2015. Both those movies could have easily cannibalized each other, but they didn't. They thrived together. They destroyed the competition together. That's what happened. Granted, that was back when things were normal at the box office, but still. If those two movies can coexist, I believe Cruella and Quiet Place Part 2 can coexist too. So yes, pro number three, it has no real direct competition. And I really don't think Spirit Untamed next weekend is going to do that much damage to the movie. Maybe Peter Rabbit 2, but yeah, I think Cruella is going to be good for quite a long time. So I would consider that a pro. Another pro, when compared to all the live action remakes that have happened in the past decade, from what I've heard, this is considered to be one of the better ones, which isn't saying a whole lot in the grand scheme of things, considering how some of those movies turned out. But it is better than most. People aren't saying the movie's complete trash, so there's that at least. We don't have another Mulan situation or another Lion King or Aladdin situation. So that's good, I guess. So yeah, I would consider that a pro, a relative pro. Anything else I can say for the pros? Not really. Yeah, I think that's it. Cons. This movie, as you know, is a part of the Disney live action genre at this point, the live action remake genre that really took off. I know there was the stuff in the 90s, but it really, really took off with Alice in Wonderland 2010. That's when things just started, the whole trend really just kicked off. It was with Alice in Wonderland. Some people like to group in Oz the Great and Powerful, even though that's not even a Disney property technically. But it is similar enough to those movies. Let's just group it in because most people like to do that anyway. So there was Alice in Wonderland, there was Oz the Great and Powerful. Then after that, there was Maleficent, then Cinderella, then Jungle Book, then I think there was Peach Dragon, but that's small scale. Then there was the big one, Beauty and the Beast, 2017. Then Aladdin, then Lion King, then there was Maleficent 2. Then the one that came right before this, Mulan. You all know what happened to Mulan. I don't need to explain the whole story because that movie was a big old yikes. So yeah, that movie turned off a lot of people, and I bet so many people were burned by not just that, but by Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, Lion King, and Mulan. A lot of people were turned off by those movies, so I highly doubt they're gonna show up to see this because again they were burned out. So why would they show up to support this if they didn't like the others? So that's a definite problem this movie's gonna face. So yeah, that's con number one easily. The poor reputation of the live action remakes from Disney. So yeah, automatic con right there. Second con, the whole Disney Plus Premiere Access thing. This is the second time they've done it with a movie that's also in theaters. I know technically this whole thing started with Mulan, but that whole thing was just weird and just I don't want to talk about Mulan, honestly. I like to wish it didn't exist. But the last movie to really do this was Raya and the Last Dragon, like way back in March. That did the whole theaters and Disney Plus Premier Access thing. Box office wise, didn't work out all that great. It did quite poor by Disney standards. Granted, it was in a worse situation, when it comes to theaters and audiences and whatnot. But still, like if Raya can't do well, and that's an original Disney movie too. If that can't do well, then what makes you think this can do all that well either? Like I don't know because Disney doesn't want to say how well it's doing on Disney Plus Premier Access. They don't want to say anything, so no one knows what's going on. All we know is the box office. So yeah, like Raya was essentially a flop. So this whole Premier Access thing is not off to a great start in terms of theatrical movies. Will Cruella change that? Maybe it might, but I'm not going to hold my hopes up for that. So I guess we consider that another con is the whole Disney Plus Premier Access thing makes things highly confusing. So that's another con. Third con. Well, I mean, it's being released in quite a lot of theaters. The most in the pandemic era, like almost at 3,900, which for normal standards is quite good, but still there's audience restrictions, like there's capacity restrictions, and that will definitely eat into this movie's potential box office. Because if you want a movie to be truly, truly, truly successful, you need to get as many people in that theater as possible. And with COVID, that just can't happen. They can't do it unless they want to go to jail or something. So yeah, like that's obviously still a problem. Like the pandemic is still here. I mean, sure things have gotten better, but they're not 100% yet. They may never get to 100%. At least not like it used to be. So yeah, con number 3, pandemic still a issue. Uh I think that's it. I think that's all the points I needed to make. So, opening weekend. Oh, I forgot to mention Memorial Day. I mean, it's coming out Memorial Day. Memorial Day is kind of a mixed bag. It used to be a big, big weekend for movies, and then recent years it hasn't quite been as big. That's mainly due to Disney and their Memorial Day curse that they had with movies like what was it? Prince of Persia. There was that. There was Tomorrowland, Alice Through the Looking Glass, Pirates 5, Solo, all either underperforming or straight up bombing Memorial Day weekend. And Aladdin was the one to break that curse and actually be successful. Aladdin 2019. We obviously didn't have Memorial Day last year for obvious reasons. So, yeah, Memorial Day has been a mixed bag recently. So, uh. But, Aladdin still broke the curse. So, I don't know. I don't know at this point. So, opening weekend wise, I have to do both a 3-day and a 4-day weekend. 3-day, I'm going to be pessimistic and say 20 million, somewhere 20 to 25 million 3-day. And then for the 4-day, it will be above 30 million. That's what I'm thinking. I think that's reasonable enough for this movie. Now, I've been wrong with my predictions when it comes to some of these big movies. I was wrong with Godzilla vs. Kong. I was wrong with Mortal Kombat. I was sure as hell wrong with Demon Slayer. So I wouldn't be surprised if I'm wrong again, but I don't know. I think I might be on the money this time. Like I might be accurate, considering the whole Disney Plus Premier Access thing just makes this thing even more of a mess than it already is. So I'll make okay, so let's recap. 20 to 25 million 3-day, 30 million 4-day. Overall probably make 100 million, I think it can reach it. And then that'll be it. I don't know how it will do overseas. That's anyone's guess. So yeah, that's it. That's it for Cruella. Oh, I forgot. Well, I guess I could mention that the whole movie just feels weird. Like it's PG-13. That might turn off some parents. And the whole let's make Cruella this evil woman who skins dogs, this hero, this anti-hero. I think people might be turned off by that idea. Like the whole movie just sounds like Disney trying to be like Joker. That's like the first thing I heard once that trailer dropped. Everyone compared it to Joker, me included. Like the whole thing is weird. It might do well, it might do terrible. I don't know at this point. Really, I don't care all that much about the movie. What I do care about is the other movie I'm going to be talking about this weekend, and that's Quiet Place Part 2. I have waited to talk about this movie for so long, you can't imagine it. So I cannot wait to make that video. And then that'll be the end of May. So, yeah. And then, of course, next week, there's June, there's Conjuring, Devil Made Me Do It, and Spirit Untamed. So, yeah. Anywho, that is it. That is all. Make sure to subscribe, like this video, leave a comment, turn on notifications, share the whole drill. Want to check out more videos like this? I got playlists on the homepage of all previous prediction videos I made this year. Movies like Tom and Jerry, Ray and the Last Dragon, Godzilla vs. Kong, Mortal Kombat, Demon Slayer, the movie. Did all those and much more. So if you want to watch any of those or any of the prediction videos I made in 2019 or 2020, you can go right ahead. Also, box office. No, there's the canceled series where I go over all the movies that were supposed to come out but didn't. Just did one about Peter Rabbit 2 and Infinite and Moonfall getting dates. So if you want to watch that or any of my other canceled episodes, now there's 66. You want to watch any of those, that way you want to know what's happening to all these movies, go right ahead. There's also box office recaps where I go over the box office results for any particular month. The May recap will come out right after Memorial Day. Once I get numbers for those, then I will make that video. And then after that, we'll just do it like we used to do, just monthly. Then just June, July, August, and so on. But if you want to check out any of my past recap videos, you can go right ahead. And yeah, that's it. That's all. I am out. Goodbye.